assessment to support ongoing learning and improvement in flipped learning. Flipped learning is a paradigm that has transformed traditional education, placing a spotlight on the role of assessment in supporting continuous learning and improvement. So here in Studio 1 Level 3, we are privileged to have an expert guide us through this fascinating topic. Allow me to introduce our esteemed speaker, Dr. Zahiruddin Fitri Abu Hassan. Dr. Zahir is a senior lecturer in building surveying at Universiti Malaya, Kuala Lumpur. His expertise and research span across building pathology, concrete durability, and construction technology. An avid e-learning advocate, Dr. Zahir's passion for technology in education led to his appointment as the head of e-learning at the Academic Enhancement and Leadership Development Center (ADAC) in 2014, merely 2 years after completing his PhD. His journey continued as the Deputy Director of E-Learning Innovation and Technology at ADAC, and presently he holds the position of Head of Training at ADAC. Beyond his academic pursuits, Dr. Zahir enjoys various activities, from occasional rowing and volleyball to cycling and commuting to work by train. Ladies and gentlemen, let's extend our warmest welcome to Dr. Zahiruddin Fitri. Please welcome.
Thank you, Azah, for the kind introduction. It's strange to hear somebody speak or introduce you that way. And honestly, this is the first time that I heard people introduce me using my own biodata. So, for your information, I wrote that biodata myself, but to hear people say it out loud, it seems strange. Okay, so the topic that I chose today for the speech or for the talk is, as what you can see in the front there, assessment to support ongoing learning and improvement in flipped learning. So we are looking at two important things here. The first one is the teaching method, which is the flipped learning or flipped classroom. So some people say that those terms are interchangeable. And then we also are going to look at the assessment part of flipped learning. So before I begin, let me properly begin with a disclaimer, because I'm going to use a lot of third-party tools. So I hereby claim that I do not have any affiliation of any kind with these e-learning products, monetary wise or other than me being the user with a normal user account. So anything or any information that's current is what I presented in the publication. So if you look at the presentation again, maybe 2 months or 3 months time, the features might change or might improve. Some companies even go bust. So we don't know, but this is what's current now. So before we begin properly, I would like to ask all the participants to download or open the link to the presentation by either putting in the bit.ly code or just scanning it with your phone. So the reason why I ask you to do this is because in presentation there are a few interactive activities. So for those who are used to my way of doing presentations or doing workshops, I always do things hands-on. Okay, so I would expect the same level of hands-on experience that you are going to have today. Okay, so first, I think let's begin with an outline of what we are going to do. So what we are looking at today in this hour is looking at the practical methodologies for assessment that you can use in order to help support flipped learning. Because when after having a few semesters of doing flipped classroom, we understood that assessment plays a really important part in flipped learning. Okay, and the way that assessment is done, mostly in flipped classroom, it's done on a formative level. So we need to design formative assessment that helps foster the way students learn the subjects, because they have to do it themselves, okay, before we go to the face-to-face classroom. Okay, so let's begin with flipped learning. So can I see a show of hands who have done flipped learning in their classroom with their students before? Just raise your hand. So maybe a little bit counts. Okay, so probably 4 or 5 of you. Okay, but we are going to, for the benefit of all the audience, we are going to look at what are the core principles of flipped learning. We are going to look at how it's done, what are the objectives of flipped learning, and making sure that when we design flipped learning experience for our classroom, we design it in an engaging and effective way so that it benefits our students. Okay, so before we go on to the presentation properly, I would like to ask you to share your definition of flipped learning, because over the years of doing flipped learning, doing training for our educators, people come up with different ways to define their flipped learning and also flipped classroom. Okay, so if you go to your phone now, go to this page or this slide and click on share your definition. So it will take you to a page where it will ask you to input your definition of flipped learning or flipped classroom. Okay, so let's continue with the presentation. We can discuss the train journey during our lunch. Okay, and the breaks. Okay, so let's look at several responses of the definition of flipped classroom. So the first one, students go through the learning material on their own before coming to class with the educator. And we have let's select a few. Flipped classroom is activity conducted beyond classroom led by student. Okay, so that's an interesting way to put it. We give some student material to the students to study before class, and during class have in-depth discussion. Okay. Classroom conducted by students guided by instructors. So let's close this so that we can see. Approach a convert the traditional method of teacher leading learning, instead handling responsibility over to the student. Another one, flipped learning into interactive activities, discussion of problem solving techniques and strategy in pedagogy. Okay, so when we look at this response, and later we are going to look at the standard response or the standard definition of flipped classroom, you can see what are the similarities and also what are the differences. Okay, so you've shared your definition. So let's look at the definition, the standard definition that is given by the originators of the flipped classroom and flipped learning approach, which is Sam Bergman. Okay, so flipped learning, especially in our context, the university classroom, is a pedagogical approach in which direct instruction move from group learning space, that means the classroom or the lecture, the conventional lecture as we might know it, to the individual learning space. So that means direct instruction is not done by the lecturer. So if you remember the old ways of teaching, or some people are still having that same approach, you instruct the students in a group space, in a classroom, in front of the classroom, giving lecture. So similar to what we are doing today. So we flip that. The direct instruction is transferred into the individual learning space. That means the students do it themselves. What it does is it releases the group space into a dynamic and also interactive learning environment. So you don't lecture anymore in the classroom, but you design a learning experience in the face-to-face session, where we become the facilitators of learning. So that means we guide the students, and there in the classroom, the students are applying concepts and constructing knowledge, okay? And engaging creatively in the subject matter. So reflect back on your answer just now, and because it's anonymous, so you know what you wrote. So now try to reflect: is what I define flip instruction or flip learning correct and follows the standard definition for flip learning? Okay. And today we are going to look at how we do that properly according to how it's supposed to be designed, and how it is first envisioned by the creators. Okay, so what is the use or the best use of face-to-face time with the students? So let's face it, when we are giving lecture, I always say this to my academic colleagues, and a lot of them are taken aback with what I say. Okay? We are in front of them, showing them that we are working. So let me repeat that to you. When we are giving lecture to students, we are standing in front of them, and we are showing them that we are working. Does learning happen? That's a big question mark, isn't it? Because we are showing them that we are working, we are actually talking to them. But the purpose of a session with the students is for them to do the learning activity. Okay? So students have limited time with us. They spend that time in a traditional lecture just listening to us. But the listening part is actually easy for them, because they can listen. If they are sleepy, they can actually go to sleep. And in a class of probably 120 students, we will not be able to wake everyone up, and we are not expected to do that. So other than talking at students, giving lecture, we should use the time to engage the student with activities that actually help them learn the subject matter properly. We challenge them with advanced or problem-solving questions to gauge their understanding, and also to make sure that they are not struggling with whatever topics that we are teaching. Okay, so that would be a better time spent with the students, rather than standing in front of them, and you say this again, and showing them that we are working. Okay, so how do we design this personalized flipped learning for the students? So remember, when we do flipped learning, the students, according to the standard definition, the students are doing the direct instruction in their own personal time, isn't it? And with the advent of technology, the use of learning management system, we have the power to curate the content for the students very personalized manner, okay? And we use the learning management system to deliver that. It can be in the form of videos, it can be in the form of a lesson that they follow, or it can be even articles that they read. But there are important components that we need to put in order for the students and also for us to understand what is going on. Okay, so Spectrum is a Universiti Malaya learning management system. So I use Spectrum in UM. Our colleagues from different institutions. I know people are from USIM. There are people from USIM, and there are also people from other institutions as well. You have your own learning management system. So what we do is we use this platform to design or curate the personalized learning activities for the students, and we help them to navigate the content successfully. Okay, so there are many types of activities, but what's important is we have three main items. Okay, the first one is the content, the second one are the activities, and the third one is the assessment. And the assessment is very important in flipped learning. Okay, so this is quite small. I know at the back it's quite small. If you go into your phone, you'll be able to actually zoom in. Okay, and you will be able to see different characteristics of that. So I would like to ask our audience here, if you could zoom in into this picture of the page. So this is a topic that I teach for undergraduate students. So it's called health safety, and this is just one topic of that. So I would like you to identify some features that you can see from the page. Okay, either you can see here or you can see in the zoom in page on your phone. And I would like you to volunteer to say or to point out what you see. Anyone? The characteristics of the design of the page that helps students navigate the flipped learning experience. Okay, so I've stated the reading time. Okay, what else?
Student learning time.
That's very good observation. Okay, yeah. Okay, thank you for your answer. So let's see any other people who can identify certain things in that. Maybe our friend from USIM. What do you see? Ten seconds. 5 seconds.
The first one is quite practical. They need to look at the data and try to analyze and understand. So practical.
Okay. All right. So it's just that's the sequencing, isn't it?
Sequence.
Structured instruction.
Structured instruction. Okay. Right. So we have all those features in there. So let's explore these features and why is it there. Okay. So when we are looking at curating the self-exploration flipped content for the students, as I said before, we need to curate them in a way that it conveys three things. The first one is are the contents. Of course, the content needs to be relevant to the learning objective, and it can be reading material, just reading materials. That's the very simple of basic one, but you can use a lot more like videos, infographics, simulations, and then you need to have activities. So the learning content are the basic one for the students. The activities are also important, and with technology, we have the ability to create content with activity and merge it together. Okay, so beyond the articles of text, normally it's quite passive. When you look at videos, you can use interactive videos. When we have simulations, VR simulation, or even computer simulations, we can have that activity where students interact with the simulations. I will be showing you some tools or some technology that's already out there to use that. Okay, and things that can be embedded with interactive activity, so that we can get the students to interact with it, have a nice hands-on experience. Just now in the morning, in the keynote, there was a question about cognitive domain and psychomotor domain. So interactivity actually helps with the psychomotor domain for the students. And we also have assessment. Okay, assessment in a flipped learning environment serves two important functions. The first one is for the students, so that the students will be able to know where they are at that point of time. So we need to design that assessment properly, so that it helps them learn. So starting with assessment of learning that we are normally used to, we use assessment as a form of learning. And then the second one, also very important, is for us, for the instructors and educators. And we use assessment that we design specifically for the formative part of the flipped classroom, so that then we assess the student mastery of whatever content that we give them, and this in turn will help us design the face-to-face session. Okay, so that means the face-to-face session in a flipped classroom environment will be different every time we see students, because students' response will actually dictate how we deliver the face-to-face session. Remember, the flipped instruction is done by the students in their own time. Okay. Okay. So let's. Again, I think you should move to your phone to help you zoom in the pictures. So there are several components that I've embedded that helps or designed to help the students to navigate the flipped classroom, the flipped learning experience in their own time. The first one is the synopsis of each of the topic. So at the top here, I give them the synopsis of the topic to get their brains moving, to know what are expected of them. Okay. And since this is another course, which is a postgraduate course, I don't list the learning outcomes one by one as I would for the undergraduate course. So I put it in words because they have a more mature way of thinking, so you'll be able to catch that learning outcome from the synopsis. And the second one is the instruction. So when you go to the instruction, you will be able to see that these instructions are very detailed. It gives the sequence to the students. Okay? Go through the prepared lesson, and I describe what are those resources going to be, and then I also tell them what is the purpose of the timing. You pointed out just now. You can see the timing. Okay, we now live in an environment where our students have a low attention time. Okay, so instead of getting them everything together and then we don't tell them how long it will take, this way actually helps them to manage their time better. They can make sure that so if one activity takes 1 hour, then they can sit for 1 hour. If another activity takes 45 minutes, then they can actually schedule that for another time. But of course, for postgraduate, this is quite long. But for undergraduate, if you look at the picture from before, it's actually much shorter. So 5 minutes, 10 minutes, because that allows them a shorter attention time for the students. Okay, and then you also have the activities, what they need to do. Like here, so it's already marked as done view, but in the system you can actually program that and what they need to do, and also what will happen once they finish it. So here it says go through the activity to the end and receive a grade. So they need to complete that activity and receive a grade before they can say that that's completed. Okay, and that follows through to the end of the activity. So to help you with the design of the classroom, there are several technologies that we use. Okay, the first one is Edpuzzle. So I don't know whether you used Edpuzzle before, but now I would like you to go into the presentation and click on Let's Try Edpuzzle. Okay, so I've created a video lesson where you can do. It's a very short video, and it will only take about maximum, I would say, 2 minutes for you to go through. So I'll give you 2 minutes to try and go through that lesson yourself. So let's look at some of the practical assessment ideas for flipped learning. And since the flipped learning in its basic form involve reading, then what can we do to help the students with the reading task? Okay, these are three ideas that I would share with you. The first one is to ask questions and make connections to the reading material. So, for example, you can ask, what do you think of the summary given by the author in page 32, for example? Or what does this paragraph mean to you? So those are the kind of concepts that actually connects the learner to the reading materials. Second one is to encourage students to create concept maps. Some reading materials allow the students to actually design the concept map around what they read. And the last one would be normally what's more familiar or to the learners, have them to write summaries. And now we can leverage the use of AI to help them with writing that summary. Okay, and when you are doing assessment for flipped classroom, it needs to be kept simple. We don't want to challenge the students too much, because the challenging part, the thinking part, we can actually move into the face-to-face session. We ask them the simple question so that then they know what they are doing. Okay, for learning activities that we design in a flipped learning environment, then it becomes a little bit easier. We can use the interactivity that's embedded, like Edpuzzle that I've shown you, to make the lesson for the students dynamic and also hands-on. Okay, if you are familiar with gamification, then that's another way for you to actually engage the students. And this hands-on activity, the interactivity that we embed, actually foster the active learning and also keeps our students motivated. Okay, so you can actually look at several technology like H5P and also PHET or PET to look for ideas to embed in your flipped learning instructions. I'm going to go through them. You can actually go through them yourself with the presentation that I have given you. Okay, so let's look at tailored assessment approaches. So when we do our assessment, we need to design it in such a way that it actually helps the learning to be continuous for the students. And the way that the assessment is done, it allows for this personalized experience for the students, and it completes the self-learning pace for the students, so that then we can start designing the face-to-face session with them. Okay, so there are two parts of assessment as we know it, formative assessment, and I would argue that formative assessment is the main type of assessment that we use in a flipped learning classroom, because that's where we facilitate the learning for the students. And then we also have the summative assessment, which occurs at the end of the normally the face-to-face session with the student, the second phase of flipped learning. So remember that flipped learning always have these two phases, and it's not about giving presentation to the students, giving presentation task to the students, and then for them to present during the classroom. Okay, and of course, with technology, with the LMS and with Web 2.0, we can actually discover a better way for us to use the assessment, and also now it helps also for us to analyze the measurement or the response of the students to design a better face-to-face phase for the students. Okay, so these are several assessment opportunities for us to drive the continuous improvement for the classroom. So we can unlock the potential of the assessment data. Edpuzzle gives you a good set of data to design what to focus during the face-to-face session. Okay, you can also use the data to discover what works and how to leverage on what works to help you design the face-to-face session. And also we can go beyond that and use assessment data from different courses to unlock faculty development or academic development training potential that we can actually go to and get ideas, so that then not just for the course but the whole program can benefit. Okay, so last few slides. Okay, addressing challenges and overcoming barriers. Of course, these are something that's been pointed out to me every time people wanted to do or wanted to start a flipped classroom. And one thing that we should always remember that flipped classroom, because of the nature of the self-directed learning, it actually helps ensure equity and also inclusivity in assessment practices. Our students have different speed, isn't it, of learning, and giving a one-size-fits-all lecture will not benefit most of them. Okay, we use this platform to ensure that students can go in their own pace. We put in feedback, automated feedback, so that they will be able to learn from the assessment, the students themselves, and also for us to learn from what students are asking or what students are answering, so that then we can design a better collaborative session that engages the students. Okay, so of course, when doing flipped learning, especially for the first time, what we would like to advocate is for you to jump in, but jump in slowly. You have the time to do that, because let's face it, if you want to first time to do it and design the whole experience for 14 weeks, it's going to be overwhelming. And the beauty of flipped learning, you can actually design it by topic or by week. So do that. But first, please start. Okay? Unless you don't start, then you will not go anywhere. And of course, when we look at integrity or in assessment, we are now faced with the challenge of AI. Okay, so it's very important for us to train the students to use the AI responsibly. Like what Prof Udan was saying in the morning. Yes, we cannot run away from ChatGPT or whatever AI technology out there, but teach the students how to use it, because they are going to have to use it, especially when they are working. So the keyword here is, you might not be replaced by the AI, but you will definitely be replaced by somebody who knows how to use AI properly. Okay, so last, my practical takeaway. Flipped learning is within your grasp. As I said, you can actually start small. It is not insurmountable. At the very basic, it's you giving the students content to read, and then you ask them about the content afterwards. But what is important is allow yourself to experience flipped learning. Okay, and start small, please. Start with 1 week. Start with one topic. Get the students to explore the joy of flipped learning. And but the good thing is, the resources that you have is very usable. You are just flipping or repurposing it differently to design flipped learning, as you can see from the picture that I showed you. Okay, and you can use YouTube for the videos. And of course, don't worry about failures. You start small, you fail small, and build up confidence. Okay, so that then you can actually move on or graduate to a more complex flipped learning strategies later. Okay, so thank you for listening. I'm sorry I've taken too much of the time.